Welcome, everyone. It is Wednesday, August 10th. Welcome to the block. Like, share, subscribe. I am here today with everything that's going on in Los Angeles right now. It is only fitting that I am joined by a former USC Trojan, my co-host today, Trevor Trout. Trevor, how you doing? Thanks for joining us today.
I'm fired up, man. I'm not going to lie to you, man. We've been to talk some USC football. We got a lot going on. We're back. We're here. We're doing it. I know you won't talk about it.
Now, you saying you back. Let's hold our horses a little bit. We'll talk about that a little later. But let's start off with this. Student body right, new NIL collective announced yesterday for the USC Trojans. Now, USC administration has been saying for a while they did not want a collective. In your opinion, Trevor, you very close to USC program and a lot of the recruiting that's going on the West Coast. Is this a knee-jerk reaction to Malachi Nelson's interest in Texas A&M and the aggressiveness that A&M has had in the NIL world?
I think it's a bunch of things, Carl, because actually, I heard from somebody about a couple weeks ago that the Trench is supposed to be getting about 50 G's in NIL. So saying the whole, the school doesn't, this is wrong. It takes a whole bunch of things. For example, we got to understand one, USC is an academic school, first and foremost. And on top of that, we were coming off those sanctions for a while. So for a long time, people couldn't pay. We couldn't give the bags out. These things are legal now. So as a national brand, which we are USC, we don't want to come out and say, hey, we want to get a collective together and go get these bags, right, to go get the best players in the country. But at the same time, we're USC. We want to have a collective to go get the best players in the country. So this is what you guys got to deal with, where we got to go in public relations and re-R this thing. Go ahead and do that. But as far as I'm concerned, Lincoln Riley's here. There's too much money being invested. It's all a crock. Everything's a crock.
Now, Trout, now, come on, man. You're telling me USC is an academic school. You telling me that Matt Leinart, Reggie Bush, and Lindell White went to USC to go to class for academics, or did they go to the National Football League and lead USC to national championships? Keep it real with me now.
I'm keeping it real with you. And what I'm telling you is that USC, it was transitioning. We had a long period where we're like, okay, this is how we want to be viewed as a school around, we don't care about all the other sports stuff. Now I'm seeing it's like, okay, we're in this now. We're ready to compete nationally. And as you know, because we talk about all the time, there's certain things you need. Like, yes, we're going to get our own facility. That's not a thing that we had. Now, it may be seeming like a small thing, but these are big things when you're trying to compete in big-time college football. USC is ready to compete in big-time college football. So you come back to me, you say, okay, cool, I'm playing you. I'm not playing you at all, because I'm telling you I was there and I saw it, because we didn't have enough money to even get some of the top assistants that we really wanted when I was there. And now what do we have? Some of the best assistants in the country. It's a night and day snap.
Well, the thing that's interesting to me is it seems to me that every time USC is not winning, everybody's trying to fall back on academics like the place at Stanford. But now when you got Pete Carroll, or now that you bring in the excitement of Lincoln Riley, now we telling me that USC is ready to win championships again. And so we're going to see, you saying that USC is back. Do you think that USC is in a position again right now, like they weren't under with Clay Helton, to win national championships?
I think that things from top to bottom, it's not even just about coaching. It's just not even about this and that and the third. It's about understanding when you have a school, you have your coach, you have your president at your school, everyone has to be bought in. Your AD has to be bought in. Mike Bones bought in. Before that, I don't know if Lynn Swan was bought in. I was there. I'm telling you, everyone's on the same page now. These are things we need for USC football to be USC football. People know I'm not capping. I'm telling 100% the truth, and all the fans going to be happy for me saying it. I know I didn't play a whole bunch there, but I saw everything that was going on. So that being said, now you have a AD who's completely bought in. And on top of that, you have a coach who he brought all his guys out here and they said, look, we want our families to have a real lifestyle. And we want to bring what we did at OU over here. And we know the national brand, which is USC, and we understand what it's going to take to build it. Like, as you know, we're going to the Big Ten. Got to go to the Big Ten. need all that TV money. And on top of that, we're a national brand. People have to see us, even though we're on the West Coast. The rest of the country's moving. They're not stopping for the West Coast. USC said, we're still USC. Our brand is bigger than the conference we're playing in, and we got to go all in.
So the USC to the Big Ten, that's a move you feel like needed to happen?
I 100% think it had to happen. 100% think it had to happen because the teams that we play out here, like respectfully, like because we have a lot of pros in the Pac-12. On top of that, TV deal is really bad and no one's seeing us play. Big Ten, you're going to get visibility now.
So what about all the people that are complaining about, oh, we got to go play Rutgers all the way in New Jersey. Oh, we got to go play Maryland. What do you say to the people that are complaining about that? Because I'm hearing a lot of complaining about some of the distances that you're going to have to travel from LA to the Midwest and to the East Coast.
Here's what I will say. You know, when we played Notre Dame one time, we flew in on a Friday night. We still had to play the game. I mean, I understand fans being mad about it. At the end of the day, if they're playing Ohio State, you're going to go travel for their game, aren't you? 100% you are. Because USC is playing Ohio State, and you know you want to be there. It's going to be an acclimation period. That's okay. Everyone wants to have their feelings hurt. That's fine. You're going to watch these games when Harbaugh goes against Lincoln Riley when there's playing USC in Michigan.
Does it help or hurt recruiting? Does a kid from Southern California want to go play Iowa? Does he want to go play Michigan? Does he want to play the University of Minnesota when it's cold outside? Does the West Coast hurt recruiting with the move to the Big Ten, or does this help USC's recruiting brand?
It helps recruiting 100% because at the end of the day, I grew up watching USC, and on top of that, I want to be on the national stage. Now with the Big Ten, me playing in the Big Ten ensures I'm going to be playing the top kids.
Let's change gears here a little bit. Transfer portal season has been huge, and all I hear every time I open up Twitter or get on social media or even in our own network meetings, we're talking a lot about three guys. JT Daniels at West Virginia, Kedon Slovis at Pitt, and Jaxson Dart at Ole Miss, all former USC quarterbacks. Now, you know what I think about all three of them. I've seen some flashes out of each, but I don't know, besides Kedon Slovis, I don't know if any of them have had a really productive or great year. What are your thoughts on those three quarterbacks? And who, in your opinion, amongst the three is going to have the best season for their respective team this fall?
Personally, I think Kedon Slovis, and that's because I think that Pitt can really win the ACC. Because, yes, obviously they lost Jordan Addison. But at the same time, I look at it, a lot of their guys up front are coming back, and I think they have a great room of tailbacks. They have a great room of tailbacks. I know everyone saw the report about, dings and, spasms, whatever. People going to be fine and ready to play. But it's more so, it's like I think for the teams that he's going to have to play, I think that he matches up well with them, especially with the teams that are going to be out there competing. Like Pitt has more experience than them. Pitt has more experience than them. Like I can't go out there and say, hey, clearly Clemson has more experience than Pitt. It doesn't mean that Pitt's going to beat them either. I think they'll personally go into the season, I'm going to roll with Kedon Slovis. And as for the JT Daniels front, I'm going to go right for my man and say I think he's got a bad rap. He's had a very different career. He was a modern-day quarterback, 5-star, very good. It's not necessarily tough to coach him because at the same time with JT, he's one of those rare quarterbacks where he sees the game like a coach. So it rubs people the wrong way. And you know this. And one thing I think what's so funny with JT being able to go and get back with Graham now is now there's a familiarity there. He's older. They're at different spots. And at the same time, they're going to have to work together. Because, at the end of the day, I'm going to tell you a cool story. Like these guys were in the same room. You have Kedon Slovis, you have JT Daniels. And I teach Kedon, hey, 1, 2, 3, this is the way you got to read it. It's okay, cool, bet. This is how I'm going to do it. We have JT and you're coaching him. JT sees the game so differently where he sees things before people see it. So it's not going to be a 1, 2, 3, let me go read all this stuff. It's I know this guy's open. Why am I not going to throw the ball right here when this guy's already open? So like two different quarterbacks that play the game completely different. Like JT is going to walk you down, Keaton's going to sling the ball, and then you got Dart. We got a fun we want to talk about with Dart. I think Dart is going to be great for Ole Miss. I think he can be great for Ole Miss once he figures out the system because he's still a young quarterback. Let's not get too ahead. He's still a young quarterback. People got to understand that. But we look at that Matt Corral mode of all the things that he did when he was at Ole Miss. That's similar to what Dart did last year, and he's still figuring out how to play.
You mentioned that Daniels and Slovis were in the same room together. How was that relationship with them? What was the dynamic between those two guys when they were competing for the job at SC?
I wouldn't say it was mean-hearted. It wasn't. It was just clearly competitive. Like guys are competing for jobs and situations are happening. JT was the starting quarterback. JT went down, and then Keaton was ready, and then Keaton balled, and he had a relationship with his coordinator. And then JT did what he felt was best for him. And he went to Georgia, and he played well the first year he was at Georgia, even though he was still getting acclimated to things. You know, the knee was still getting cleaned up with him. But JT, as you remember, year before they won the national championship, he played some pretty good ball for them, you know. And then, like, again, he got dinged, and they made a decision. He said, you know what? I'm going to go to Western Virginia. I want to make sure that I get a real chance to put some things on tape. And one thing I say about JT, I still think he has a lot. I think he has a lot left in the tank. I really do, because he's never really played bad.
So one thing I want to point out before we move on is, now we're talking a lot of USC today, a lot of West Coast stuff.
Mm-hmm.
But you just made what I feel like is a preposterous statement.
What?
You said that Pitt, you think, can win the ACC this year, even though they've lost Jordan Addison to the Trojans. And I want to know, right, is Kedon Slovis on the other side of your monitor right now? And is that why you're saying that? Because to me, that was just a preposterous statement.
It was a preposterous statement.
You've given us a lot of great USC information today.
For sure.
You just said Pitt winning the ACC.
Mm-hmm.
All right. When it's Clemson, when Miami is loaded, when NC State is loaded, make it make sense to me, Trout. Make it make sense.
Now, Reed, you and I talk all the time. When the last time you told me all these boys was low? All these boys. You tell me none of these boys could be beat? Oh, are we talking about the ACC like it's the SEC now? Don't play with me, Carl Reed. Don't play with me, Carl Reed. Like, you all know, like, if you got some of the oldest players and you got good kids, they all returning. I get that. They lost Jordan Addison. They put up a lot of last year. On top of that, they have a different coordinator. But to say that, it's unreasonable, plus on top of that, is Clemson even on their schedule this year? Do they even have to play them? So how is there not a way for them to get to the ACC championship and win it? There's no path for them. I'm asking you right now.
We're going to revisit this mid-season.
Mm-hmm.
I may have to bring you back on so we can discuss this again. I feel like I want to make some kind of bet about this. I love, you know, that I'm a betting man.
Oh, I know you are.
You know, I
know you are.
So we're going to have to come back to this. Now, heartbreaking news out of Wake Forest, reported Sam Hartman, superstar quarterback, 4-year starter, 4,000 yards last year, 39 touchdowns, is out with a non-football related injury. What does this mean for Wake Forest, Trevor?
It's tough for Wake Forest, man, because, bro, like, at the end of the day, like, you can't replace 39 touchdowns. You can't replace 4,228 yards. So, like, if you're Dave Clawson, who's a great offensive coach, you want to lean on the tailbacks that you got this year because you have a lot of inexperience at quarterback. So one of the things I look to, obviously, they had Christian Turner last year, 126, 506 yards, 5 tubs. Then you got your sophomore, Justin Ellison. Like, he was preseason, 13 All-ACC, 100 yards, 100 carries, 541 yards, 7 touchdowns. You want to lean on those tailbacks because at the end of the day, like, you know, no one gets to cry and, like, be upset, oh, man, Sam's not playing. Like, we got games to play. And we're in camp right now, and we got to be ready to roll.
I think that Dave Clawson is one of the best offensive coaches in the game. He's been at a variety of levels of college football, and he's won a lot of ways. He's won with wide open spread offenses. He's won playing with fullbacks, tight ends, big tailbacks. I think that he finds a way to move the ball for Wake Forest, to keep them competitive. And it was announced earlier today that Hartman should be back at some point this season. So if they can kind of hang on a little bit until Hartman returns, and I think Clausen is the guy for that, I think they're going to be in good position. Now, I'm going to hit home for you. You played at SC, but you're a St. Louis guy. You're from St. Louis, and your former high school teammate, Brady Cook,
True son,
was announced yesterday as
the
starting quarterback of the University of Missouri. Now, you broke the state's heart because you went to USC, but we're not going to get on that. But Brady Cook stayed loyal to the state of Missouri. He is named the starting quarterback. What does this mean for the Missouri Tigers? And most importantly, what does this mean for Brady Cook? And how is it seeing your former teammate win a starting job in the SEC at quarterback?
First thing I did last night, I texted our boy. I said, "Congratulations, kid, you did it." You know why? A lot of folks said he wasn't going to do it. You know this, Carl. There was a lot of people that was mad because they didn't understand the physical tools and intangibles deal. At the end of the day, bro, this is what they bought into, and this is how come when you take in the kid that's a raw prospect, why you develop these people. And here's why. Because the talk was going to the season is that Sam Hartman was going to be the one who was going to start. Now, people have to understand from a football perspective and a program perspective what it takes for a coach, especially like Coach Eli, to say, you know what, I'm going to play Brady Cook over Sam Hartman, who's this highly touted quarterback that was ranked high that people were expecting me to play. So Brady had to really go out there and really beat out all those kids. He had to. So I'm just happy for him, man.
You know, I think it's big for Brady. You are right. He was a guy that took a lot of criticism in his career, and he persevered, and he won the job. I mean, he won the job. They had a transfer come in from Southern Miss as a grad transfer. You had Horn come in, and Brady Cook was able to hold everybody off. I'm excited to see what he does this season. I coached against Brady Cook in high school, and I'm going to tell you something that a lot of people don't know. I also think that Brady Cook still is the best punter I've ever seen. Brady Cook can punt the football 70 yards in the air, no question about it. He's a great kid, great overall. I'm happy for him in the University of Missouri. Something is going on in the swamp today. We got news out of the University of Florida. Ricky Pearsall, transfer from Arizona State receiver, is out indefinitely. They already had a thin wide receiver room. They really were dependent on Ricky to come in and play a big role for them. What does this do for Florida Gators and the receiving room at the University of Florida?
I think it's going to be really not necessarily bad because, like, obviously they are thin and there is a concern there at the receiver spot. But one thing I know about KC, I was with KC, was at SC. I'm going to say this right now. This is not cap. This is not play. This is one of the best wide receiver coaches in the country. And the thing is, because I got to see it every day, and I saw how he's working with guys. And one thing that Florida has going for them right now, they got a prospect, Justin Shorter, who looks a lot better. His releases are a lot cleaner. And on top of that, he has better body control. He's a big receiver. So you got to understand, I saw KC coach guys like Michael Pittman, Amon-Ra St. Brown, Drake London, who just got drafted by the Falcons and was the first receiver taken in the NFL. And then I see the work that he does with them. I look at how much better Justin is. So will their receiver room be thin this year? Absolutely. But here's one thing I will say, though. And knowing with KC, because we had this at USC, you always have your feed me year. This can be Justin's feed me year with Ricky being going down. And here's why. Because when you look at him, you look at all the top guys. Because I can't say that he wasn't productive last year, because he clearly was. But at the same time, a starting receiver goes down, there's more catches to be had. This is a chance for Justin Shorter to really go out there and really get fed. If there's any coach that you want to have where it's like, it's your feed me year, it's going to be KC. Because KC shows you how to go get production. And I look at all the clips, I'm seeing some of this stuff that they're having in, their fall camp or whatever. And he gets out of his breaks a lot smoother to be at that size. He's got better body control. You can tell there's real development going on. So it's terrible that Ricky went down. At the same time, as you know, Carl, nobody cares. These SEC games got to be played. Who we rolling with? Justin Short is going to have to be a factor for the Florida Gators if they want to be good this year.
Now, let's stay on the topic of wide receivers. Our guys here at Gig'em247 have been saying that Evan Stewart has been looking phenomenal in fall camp for Texas A&M. There was a video that was put out about him, yesterday that it showed him blocking, doing a blocking drill on the sled. Let's look at that video clip here for a second. We see my guy blocking. Now, you tell me, Trout, Evan Stewart, now I'm a wing T guy, so I can appreciate this. But is Evan Stewart in College Station to block?
No. He's not here to block. I seen his body. He's going to fill out, but he's not here to block. We're wasting our time if he's out there blocking. Get this boy the ball in space and go score. Get the boy the ball in space and go score. I didn't come here to block, man. And here's the thing, to be honest with you, I'm going to keep it a bean. Kids is not coming to A&M to block. And a lot of people's issue was, for a while, dudes who could run 4.3s was out there blocking. This can't happen. Evan Stewart can be a special football player. And every time I look, bro, 6-foot receiver, crazy body control, really twitchy. Like, bro, he goes on top of people. I saw him, bro. He had a catch in spring camp that was so crazy. I'm like, bro, this is a kid. This is a kid, man. Which means no one was coaching him to do that. I don't need him blocking anybody. I need you, as if I'm the OC, I'm like, hey, how can I get you as many jail screens as possible? How can I get you in my backfield? What tight end am I going to use to get you open so then you can get down the sideline? Because that's how good he is.
Now, wait a minute.
Yes.
Receivers hate hearing this, but we do have to run the ball sometimes. And when we run the ball, we need him to block. I used to tell my guys all the time, no block, no rock. He's got to be able to block and help his teammates out. Come on, Trout, talk to me.
I also saw Isaiah Spiller take a different production last year. We trying to get to the league. What we talking about, Carl? Evan Stewart, look, bro, I got to touch it, dog. Because here's the thing, we got to keep. Hold on, we got to keep it a beam here. Because look, you got Chris Marshall there, you got Evan there, you got kids who staying home. You got to feed the kids who staying home. You got to take care of your guys in state. You know that, Carl.
Hey, in the name of another USC Trojan, Keyshawn Johnson, just throw him the down ball, right? That's it. Guys, that's our show for today. Like, share, subscribe. Follow us on social media. Trevor Trout, let everybody know where they can follow you at.
Follow me right here at Total Trout Move, fellas. Hey, keep on messing my guy Reed, one of the best in the game, man. I appreciate you for having me, dog.
Guys, thank you today for joining us. Like, share, subscribe. For the block, we out.